Hi guys, tell me where you're from, where you're joining me from, so that I can know which part of the world you're from, and tell me how you're doing. I mean, how is this lockdown, this crisis affecting you? Has it affected you on a personal level in terms of losing someone you love? Has it affected you on a personal level in terms of your job? How has it deeply affected you? I know as a therapist, I've been meeting so many clients, so many people in my practice for whom this has been a very personal, very deeply, fundamentally traumatic life event. And I think on a global level, this has been traumatic. On a global level, we are now going to be in some form of a post-traumatic stress. This is just undeniable. You know, when things like this sweep across the globe once in a lifetime, there is a tendency for an after effect, a ripple effect. And this is normal. This is how the psyche copes. At first, in the time of the struggle, it manages, it dissociates, it goes through a denial, and it just adjusts because it has to. But the psychological impact of such a drastic shake around, such a drastic event, the ripple effects of that last forever. And what I'm trying to do with this Viral Wisdom course is help you booster and buffer your psychological health so that the effects of the trauma can be integrated more clearly. Now, there will be effects of trauma. I will be experiencing effects of trauma. I am experiencing it. The fact and the point of it is not to not experience the trauma. Trauma occurs when there is a drastic, dramatic life change. It's traumatic. There's no need to act like we're braver than the trauma. It's okay to say, I am traumatized. I am traumatized. It's traumatizing. The point is not to not get traumatized. The point is to integrate the trauma in a way that it enters your psychological strata in a way that makes sense, that you can develop some meaning around, that you can integrate so that you can then move on. Life is traumatic. Life is suffering, the Buddha said. The point is not to deny it. The point is not to escape it. The point is to understand it so that it can be integrated. It can be psychologically adjusted to, so that you can then move on, not move away from, just move on, further evolved because of the trauma. Not despite of it, in spite of it. So, trauma is a part of life. The delusion is that we can run away from trauma. The delusion is that we can hide from it. You know, if we're pretty enough, rich enough, married enough, children, parents enough, we can hide from trauma. We can't. Life is traumatic in its own way. One person has a cancer, one person has a miscarriage, one person doesn't find their right passion, one person can't find a life partner. It doesn't matter. Life can be traumatic. It is undeniably so. So the point is not to escape the trauma of life, but the point is to integrate it, to understand it, to take charge of it, to grow because of it. You know, as a child, some things happened to me in my personal life by strangers that were traumatic. Now, what can I do? I have a choice. I can either choose to forever react to the trauma through a blind anger, blind hatred, behind a blind fear, or I can choose to integrate the trauma and go, I am this person because of this, and how can I uniquely contribute to the world because of this trauma? Not running away from it, but because of. So we are in that moment in time now. We are all being traumatized. We are all being globally shocked. We are all in a global staggering state of stupor. We're all on pause, going, what's going to happen next? Well, this course that I'm trying to do every day with you on Instagram and you on Facebook is to help you understand the now what. And the only way to create or transform into the now what is to now enter the what is. And as we enter the present moment with the right understanding, then the future gets created. The future doesn't exist, as I said yesterday. The future is only existent in how you are in the present. How you are in the present creates the next moment. Then the next moment creates the next one, and so on and so forth. So, if you want to emerge from this in a different way, if you want to know now what, well, the now what cannot come out of a void. The now what is created by you and me now. The now what is now. Just the question, now what is the now? What is the now? So let's look at the now and focus on the now. And all we have is the now, and then we can create the now what, until we know what is the now, right? So what is the now? We are right now in a state of shock, right? In a state of stupor. We were transplanted from our routine, from our complacency, from our normalcy, right? This is the nature of a crisis. The crisis comes into our life unbeknownst, right? If it did not come unbeknownst, it wouldn't be called a crisis. The reason it's called a crisis is because it just comes. Okay, so let's accept it. Let's not keep tantruming and upset. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Blaming this person or that person, the American or the Chinese or the Spanish or the Italian or the bats or the birds. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Republican trauma or Democratic trauma. It doesn't matter if it's rich trauma or poor trauma. It is traumatic. So stop looking to blame the president or the prime minister or whoever. It doesn't matter. It's here. It's in your private lap right now in this room that I'm in. The room doesn't care if it's Democratic or Republican or Chinese or Asian. The room doesn't care if it's from a bat or a swine. It doesn't matter. In this current room, all that matters is me and my relationship to this trauma. So it is with you. So quit the excessive thinking of what if and what will happen when. Get into the present moment and ask, who am I now? What is my relationship with this trauma? So trauma and a crisis by nature is never called for. No one in their life says, oh, I have become very complacent. I need a shock. Why don't I call upon the universe to take away something from me so that I can learn humility and grace and surrender? Why don't I have something happen traumatically? And we don't go around begging for something to catapult us from our state of normalcy. So by nature, these things have to happen without our consent. Otherwise, we are not going to grow. So now this happened without our consent. On a myopic level, on an individual level, many of us have experienced individual traumas. By the age of 11, I had experienced a couple of traumas already. So all of us in our lives have experienced some sort of trauma. Somebody could get burnt. Somebody could have an accident. Somebody's mother could be depressed. It doesn't matter. I have rarely, or perhaps never, met an individual who has not had some shade of trauma. Okay, whether called upon by themselves or not. Something traumatic. Trauma is part of life. This one also is part of life. It happened through infinite cause and effect. We don't even know. We shouldn't even try to find out because we will never find the real cause, right? And the media will always blame some animal or some nation or some race because this is the nature of sensational media. So what does that matter for you and me? For you and me, it doesn't matter how it started. For you and me, it matters that it's here in our lap right now. Now, how do we handle the what of the now? Not the now what, but the what of the now, right? So what is happening now in my life, in my lap? Oh, I was transplanted from my original plan, from my way my life was going, rudely, boldly, brutally transplanted from that. And now I am in the now. But the thing that is really traumatic is that I don't know the now what. And the truth is we never know the now what. All we can know is the what is in the now. So here we are now. The peculiar part of today's now is that we are all in a dark tunnel. And dark only because we cannot see, yes? Not because the color dark is bad. It's just dark. We just cannot see. But the beautiful thing about being in a tunnel where you cannot see is that you're forced to activate other senses. You're forced to activate other senses. You're forced to stop relying on what you can see. What that means metaphorically is that stop relying on just the 5 senses of gustation, olfaction, visual, auditory, and sensation. Stop depending on your 5 senses. This has been the problem. We have been living our life contained and capsized by our 5 senses. We think this is the only thing we have, and we've been relying on these 5 things. That's why when you're tired, you want to go eat, you want to go drink, you want to activate your vision by watching something, you want to stimulate your senses. This is the problem. Now we are in the tunnel of darkness. We cannot see, we cannot taste, nothing seems familiar. This virus even takes away your sense of taste and smell. Right? So we can't see because we don't know what's going to happen. So in a way, it's blinded us. It's taken away our sense of taste and smell. Wow. It gives us fevers and chills. So our whole body sensation is gone. Right? So what's left? Right? Most of the senses have been shut down because of this. We can't breathe. So now we are asked to, and this is in any crisis, to go beyond what was originally known. A crisis is a crisis because now we are in a place where we don't know. This is why it's a crisis. It's not so much a crisis because of the stimulus. It's a crisis because it catapults us into the unknown. So all of us are globally, for the first time together, in a deep and dire state of, I don't know. I don't know when I will be let out of the house. I don't know when this is going to end. I don't know if I even like my children anymore. I don't even know if I like myself. I don't know if I like my partner. I don't know. I don't know if I can go back to my old job anymore. I don't know whether I'll live in this house anymore. So the I don't knows are resounding, echoic. They're huge. They're plundering your consciousness, and it is terrifying us because we are globally together in an I don't know state. And we're looking for answers from this one or that one or this, and nobody damn knows, right? One of my friends lost her husband in the physical, and she said that the doctors would not come on the phone because they didn't know. And she's like, who knows then? Who will know? Who knows? So now we are confronted with who knows. But the truth of the wisdom of the eternal truth is that we never ever knew the next moment. So what do we know? We know now. And in the now, we have been missing so much of our reality. And it is time now to go beyond our senses and turn inward to appreciate what have we been missing. So let me tell you, what have we been missing? We have been missing so much. We have been missing so much. Let me tell you. Just now, sitting here, are you aware of the maybe 15 systems in your body? I'm not a scientist or biologist, so I can't rattle them all off, but your circulatory system, your respiratory system, your digestive system, your pulmonary system, everything right now, do you understand, has been working for you? Right now, every system in your body has worked intricately for you. The fact that we woke up today, and I know this is cliched, oh, we woke up today, be grateful. But now it's time to really pay attention to this cliche. You woke up today. Do you understand? So you have one more chance to do it right. Right meaning to do it connected, do it awake, do it aware, do it present. You have one more chance to go outside. You have one more chance to go to work. You have one more chance to hug your kid. You have one more chance to sit in silence and presence. One more chance to experience this body this way. This is huge. And I know it's cliched. I'm only repeating what every smart, wise person says. But I want us to truly enter this. You know, when I think about all the systems in my body that work, all of them work right now. My hormonal system, my everything, digestion, pulmonary, circulatory, respiratory, all of it works together in tandem, that I feel healthy right now. who said I was deserving of this? Who said I deserved to see, to taste, to touch? Right? And that's why when this virus takes this away from us, we now realize. But I'm asking you to realize it right now. So they say God is in the details. So this is what I mean. We have been missing all the details, all the things that are beyond the seen and the taste and the touch and the felt, because we have been consumed by our senses. So in this great pause, there is not only a great purge, right? But there is a great awe, right? So I believe this present moment in time is a great pause. It is a great purge. Purging of what? Purging of all the excess in your life. So many of my girlfriends will tease that they have worn the same sweatpants for a week, or they're not getting their hair colored, or, their Botox appointment, it cannot be fulfilled, or they're not wearing their jewelry or their makeup or their perfume. And I ask them, are you okay? Are you fine? Are you losing out on anything? And they all go, no. It's so freeing that we don't have to wear makeup every day, and that we don't have to go get ready every day. We don't have to iron 10 things every day. So we then get to realize that perhaps we had been living in excess. So this is an opportunity for a purge, at least on the material level, at least on the surface level. Take care of all the things that you need to purge off. I have a whole list of things that I'm keeping for my girlfriends to redistribute and to recycle and to let go, right? This is a moment to realize, we women especially, and I say this because we, put so much focus on our external, on our adornments, on our dress, on our makeup. For us women, it is such an opportunity to pare down, to purge, to streamline, and to really stop giving a damn. Because it's time. It's just time for us women to stop playing the game and stop giving a damn, because we have been living besieged and beleaguered by our appearance, and we have driven ourselves and people around us crazy, but spent a whole lot of money doing it. So it is a great pause. It is a great purge. And it is a great moment of awe. Now, when I say awe, I mean it at every level. The awe of our mortality, the awe of our fragility, the awe of the transient nature of life, the impermanent nature of life, the awe that this is literally a feather blow breath away. It's just a feather, blow it, and that's it. This is all that life is at the end of the day. It's literally a feather blown away, as light, as fragile, as airy, as ethereal, as a feather. So when you begin to understand this at a very deep level, then you realize that you have been obsessed and focused on all things not feather, all things not light, all things not ethereal. You have been focused on things that you did not need to be focused on. And this is the grand wake-up call. The wake-up call of wake-up calls, that we have been living a life dependent on the wrong things. And if this lesson isn't received, if we don't understand this personal lesson for our now, then we would have missed it. We would have missed this opportunity to turn things around. A crisis is a turning point. But if we turn to come back, we haven't turned. To truly turn, we have to go somewhere else. We have to leave and go, right? I tell all my clients when they come to me and they're so unhappy, I say to them, if you want to change, you have to leave one and go to another. Leave one place, leave one formation, leave one psychological way of being, leave it. So there's a death, there's a mourning, there's a shedding, there's a release. And then you have to go, meaning you have to invite, you have to call a new psychological space, a new psychological growth. This is not about going from one lover to the next, yes? Or one job to the next. This is all about the internal. So you have to leave one transformation, one way of being, your old version of yourself. Then you have to walk a path That's I call no man's land or no woman's land. You have to walk that. That's a scary path. That's the path we're in right now. It's the tunnel where you can't see. You can see, but you can't see because the new has not yet come. So you leave the old formation, there's a middle path, and then there's the new. This middle path is damn scary, and that's why you want to run back. You want to go back. But really, the middle path already indicates that the old was meant to go. The old was meant to go. Now, we can go back and cling to it like fools, or we can be wise enough to understand the old was meant to go. It was meant to go. And with that comes a death, a release, a shedding, a mourning, lots of tears, because that was familiar. Even if you didn't like it, it was familiar. So now when that goes, now you're in the desolate land, a barren land between the two worlds, going now what? But the only way to answer the question, now what, is to turn it to what is in the now. What is in the now? What is in the now? And when you keep turning the question now what to what is in the now, now you enter possibly a pause, a purge, and you enter awe. Because in the now, there is a lot. There's a lot of bullshit that you need to purge, and there's a lot of glory that you need to be in awe of. And it's this that needs to be done between the two worlds, which is where we are right now. We need to shed the old and invite in the new, right? But while we're doing this, letting go and inviting, in this present moment, we realize right here, right now, oh my goodness, so much is working in my life. So much is alive in my life. So much is present in my life. The richest or the poorest can wake up every day and go, I have this body, this mind, this heart. I have a smile that can radiate love. I have fingers that can touch my children. I have an enormous capacity for compassion and love and empathy. I have so many tools right now. But these tools are all in the level of the formless. And this formlessness is where we don't like to live. But this virus lives in the formless, and true love, true life lives in the formless. It is going beyond that which we can see. So when you understand that in the now, what is in my now is a lot, then you begin to see God in the details. And you not only see God in the details, you see God in the places that you don't want in your life. For example, many people are complaining that their teenagers are this and their children are this and they're, right? And I say to them, if you have a teenager that's yelling at you and fighting with you, that's a teenager who cares to yell at you. If you have a partner right now that you and she are bickering and you're complaining, remember you have a partner with whom you can grow through. May not be your ideal life partner, but right now this partner is here because you wanted the partner here, and the partner is here to show you how you can be more strong, how you can grow. So everything you're complaining about right now is God, so to speak, right? Is the magnificent, is the sacred. And if you begin to look at your life like that, now you are in awe. I have children. Okay, I have children who, I'm not getting along with, but I have them. And now I can turn this relationship around every single day. I have clothes, I have things, I have food, I have a body, I have a smile, I have eyes, I can see. When you do this every day, what is in my now? What is in my now? And you truly look for the God in the now, right, so to speak, the goddess in the now, the sacred in the now, your entire life begins to pivot differently. You begin to move from lack and scarcity and tantruming and resistance into abundance, right? This is how we begin to shift our life on the inside. We don't wait for the now what. We ask, what is in the now? What is in the now? So I want all of you to write down what is in your now that you are in awe of. Make a list and tell me what is in your now. And the now involves the awe, the invitation, but also the pause and the purge. Look at your now in your life and ask yourself, what is excessive? Throw out all that makeup you don't need anymore. Throw out all those extra pairs of shoes that you never wear. Give it to someone in a church or synagogue who can recycle and redistribute. I'm giving away tons of my stuff to people who I know may need them, because I believe now it is time to redistribute. It is not time to buy anything more. It is time to purge and redistribute. Those who have need to give to those who don't. This redistribution needs to happen now. And this virus is showing us that. Take care of your elderly. Take care of your neighbors. Stop buying. I love it when I go to Amazon. Nothing is available for another 30 to 40 days. It's teaching me to ask, do I really need it? And I stop buying. My bills that used to be so excessive, so small. I'm like, I didn't buy anything these 5 weeks. Wow. So if I didn't buy anything these 5 weeks, I obviously, most of the things I bought, I didn't need, because I've been doing just fine. Right? We've not been ordering out that much. Not that I don't want to support restaurants. We should order out to support restaurants. But all the excess that we've been indulging in now needs to end. Right? If we make a pledge as a humanity, no more buying new things, but redistributing all that we do have, now you tell me the planet will not change. So where does it begin? It doesn't begin with your governor or your senator. It begins with you and me. One is a million. One is everyone. Don't wait for another. It starts with you. How does it start? It starts with you understanding your trauma. Understanding and accepting, whoa, I'm in trauma. What does that mean? My old is no longer. My new hasn't come yet. Right now I'm in the traumatic in-between. How do I handle this traumatic in-between? How do I walk every moment in this traumatic in-between so I can invite in a new consciousness? How do I do it? I do it very simply by stop asking now what, but instead ask what is in the now. Change the focus. And in the now, it's a pause. In the now, it's a purge. And in the now is a great big sense of awe. When you do this, purge, pause, purge, and stay in awe. Pause, purge, and stay in awe. You will take step by step by step by step toward your new tomorrow. Now, when you have to purge, don't just purge your clothes and your shoes. That's not enough. That's not enough. You have to purge all the inauthentic ways you have been living. All the ways you have been living so small, thinking you can't. All the people that you thought you were dependent on, but now you're seeing, I'm not so dependent on them, am I? I'm living on my own. In a way, this virus, by sending us all to our own homes, has actually, what it's doing is showing us, you can do it. You don't need culture. You don't need society to endorse you. You don't need the crowds of your friends and your colleagues. Go home. What that means is go home. Go home. Go inside, go to this home and see that you are self-reliant. You are autonomous, but we are interconnected. You see how brilliantly this virus is teaching us the wisdom of life. On one hand, it's showing us we are interconnected as never have we ever seen before. But on the other hand, it's saying each one, go home, go inside, go do your own work. And this is the secret of understanding trauma, is seeing the metaphors abundant, seeing what is this trying to teach me. So it's trying to teach me that I needed to stop. I needed to press a big pause. Then it's teaching me all my inauthentic ways of living for the other, of living superficially, of living dependent and addicted may need to be tossed aside. All those old ways, what can you toss? What can you throw out? What can you discard like a pair of socks into the garbage? What? Change your what is in the now. Change your now and you will change your tomorrow. The tomorrow doesn't exist. It is only the now coming into the now. There is no moment in the future till it comes. And when it comes, it's no longer in the future. It's in the now. So there is no future. So the great pause, the great purge, and the great awe. And when you do this, moment by moment by moment, and you realize that you are walking between the old to the new, then the trauma that we're all going through becomes meaningful. The trauma becomes integrated. And this is the power of wisdom. Wisdom tells us, don't deny the trauma. Don't not cry. Don't not be in shock. That's normal. It's human. But wisdom tells us, take that and alchemize it. Take it and transform it. If you don't, then it will just stay like a rock in your chest. So this is how you need to evolve. And you don't wait for your partner. This is not about your partner. This is not about your mother. This is not about your child. This is about you and me. A commitment we are making on an individual level. I'm not waiting for anyone. I'm not waiting for you. I'm going to go do this on my own because I understand that this needs to be done. This is how you need to think. So don't wait for your partner. Don't wait for your mother. You say to yourself, I understand. I need to do this. You don't have to do it. And most people are not going to do it. The mainstream masses are not going to do anything. They're already waiting to go back on the beaches and go back to the bars. They're just waiting to go back because they're not making use of a crisis. They're not understanding that a crisis has to be a turning point. They're resisting the nature of crisis. So when you resist the nature of crisis, it's okay. That's their level of consciousness. It's okay. But let me tell you, when you resist crisis and you don't integrate it and you don't evolve from crisis, you are actually making yourself more vulnerable when the next crisis hits. And the next crisis is going to hit. So this is about raising immunity, right? Immunity means we have to enter the issue, right? We actually put the simulation of the flu, right? In the flu virus, you put the simulation of the flu, so you create the flu-like conditions, so you create immunity. In the same way with trauma, you don't leave it. You stay in it to create immunity. You don't leave it to create immunity. And there is a way to deal with trauma, which is beautiful and growth-inducing and evolving. And it involves what I've told you. This is how I help my clients, how to evolve and understand and integrate trauma. So I gave you a taste of that today. No running away from the trauma, only growing through the trauma, going through the tunnel to the other side. But the tunnel needs to be walked with deliberation, with consciousness, with awareness. And you and I can do it together. That's why I'm here every single day, so we can walk together, step by step, in no woman's land or no man's land. We are in the tunnel already. Now we can run back, but the point of the tunnel is to move forward. So you and I together every day can take a step by step by step forward. And the way we do it is we ask, what is in the now? Not now what? We ask, what is in the now? So I'm going to read a verse from the Tao Te Ching, which is a beautiful book that I read when I need solace and comfort. So I believe I am on verse 9, and if I'm not, it doesn't matter. So verse 9 of the Tao says, fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Look at this. Fill your bowl to the brim, it will spill. What this means is you have too much, you're going to tip over. Excess is always going to tip you over. Fill your bowl to the brim, it will spill. Such simple knowledge, but it's metaphorical. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. What this means is if you have a knife that you so want sharp, you will keep realizing it's going to blunt. The more you want and crave perfection, idealism, ideology, anything that is outcome-based, you will soon find the opposite happening, right? Success means you're a failure. If you don't use the word success, you won't have the word failure, right? Imagine if there was no word success, there would not be any word failure. And that would not be such a bad thing. Chase after money and security and your heart will never unclench. The more you chase, right, the heart stays clenched. The more you chase, the more you will be chasing. Care about people's approval and you will be their prisoner. Care about people's approval and you put yourself in their prison. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. What this means is, what's in the now? let go of rest. What's in the now? Let it go. Do your work, but let it go. And this moment by moment living is all we've ever had. We've been fooled because we've forgotten, because we've been distracted. But moment by moment living is all we've ever had. So when I go through this crisis, and I too get a little nervous, and my ego gets worried, and I feel pain, and I feel resistance, I just come back to meditation, and I go, what is in the now? What is in the now? What is in my now? And then I begin to realize I'm breathing. And then I begin to feel my heart. And then I feel my stomach working so hard for me. And my whole body. And I can exercise and I can move. And I say to myself, wow, what is in my now is a lot. And then I look around me and then more around me. And then my heart can open, right? So this is how you train your mind to be an awakened mind. And you train your heart to be an awakened heart. So the moment is plenty. The moment is abundant. Your now is full because you are here. And you have to go down to that basic, to the simplicities of life and find your God or goddess in that awe. And when you do, the awe replicates and it exponentializes. So I'm going to go teach meditation on another page. The link is, I'm going to just say it out loud for everyone, but it is on my Facebook. It's www, right, facebook.com, okay, so facebook.com/groups, okay, because it's a group, groups / and the name of the group is Get Superpowered / so facebook.com/groups / Get Superpowered / so somebody posted here, and come learn to meditate with me so you can learn to live in the moment. Okay, so we're not running away from this trauma. We're going to integrate it and we're going to do something even better. We're going to evolve. We are together, step by step. Thank you, Instagram. Come and join me on that Facebook page. I'm going to meditate at 12:45 in 8 minutes. And if people don't get it live, it's always on the page and you can come on the page and somebody on the page will help you get on the live meditations.
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.